Twitch. Yeah, we are live.
Okay, amazing. Please, everybody in the chat, let us know where you are or you're attending from. I want to see like the entire world map, being typed out in the chat. Let's see where are people. I see Loic from Code Like You is here. Nice. Also, people in Barcelona, amazing. So we're actually in the same city. Sami in Germany. Guy in Israel, Cristiano Ronaldo actually. Cristiano Ronaldo, is finishing his football career now, like attending some Claude Code for GTM webinars. I love to see it. Amazing. Well, then guys, that's amazing. We're just gonna be waiting like a couple more minutes just so we make sure that like we have everybody live because I'm seeing that like the amount of attendees is going up each and with every second. And then I'm gonna make a small introduction. I'm gonna introduce our two guests. Just so you know, you actually have here two of the craziest guys in go-to-market. So like actually they wanted to do these webinars just themselves, but I was like, guys, I think you are too smart. If there's someone that doesn't stop you, like to make sure that everybody understands, it's gonna get too confusing. But just for context, Kenny is the head of go-to-market here at Code Like You. He's working on some of our biggest client campaigns, automating entire outbound campaigns from scratch, managing over 10 clients at a time. And I don't know, he's just like the craziest guy on the outbound side. And then next to him, we have Ivan, our head of growth, who's the craziest ad guy. He's actually like the only ad engineer I know, to be honest, is like spending tens of thousands in dollars for all of our clients and getting insane return on ad spend. So here, guys, having these two and putting Claude Code under their hands is gonna cause some damage. So I'm just gonna wait another minute. But in the meantime, perhaps let's get an introduction from you both, Kenny and Ivan, just to make sure that like I just introduce you properly.
Yeah, I'll kick off first. So, yeah, everyone, like Mish said, I'm the head of GTM at CodeIQ. And yeah, right now we're really focusing a lot on one, kind of expanding a lot of the processes that we're doing, actually using Claude Code. So it's nice to be able to kind of start experimenting with a lot of the internal tools that we're kind of doing. And yeah, I love trying to stay in front, really just at the forefront of GTM tech as a whole. And so my job really is to make sure that our GTMEs are able to pretty much do as much quality work as possible and really do it in an efficient manner. So started to show you guys a lot of the things that we're actually using at CodeIQ today to manage as many clients as we do.
Nice, amazing. Ivan, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so as you say, I'm the head of growth here at CodeIQ. Actually, been quite a while here. It's been already like more than a year. I remember we were just at 2 million ARR, and now we are close. Yeah, just like very close to the 7 million mark. And yeah, I mean, I've done like everything at CodeIQ. Yeah, like the ads and as well like connecting it, like the signals, the inbound routing, and at the end of the day, like to summarize, just like to make sure we generate more pipeline. And through that process as well, it's when we started the ad section of our GTM agency, where we have like we're helping clients to do this like ads engineering, which basically it is like to use the outbound tools that we have at our disposal and how we can use them for for advertising as well, for account-based marketing. And yeah, and most recently right now we've jumped into Claude, so we're in a race to see who gets the best use case. And yeah, that's pretty much why you guys are here, and yeah, super excited to show you some of those use cases that we're using internally to automate our go-to-market, and hope that's very useful for you guys.
Amazing. Thanks for the introduction, guys. So just because I didn't introduce myself, I'm the founder and CEO at Code Like You. I'm going to be the moderator. So today, we're going to be covering three main use cases. As you see here are the three main presenters. And the idea is that we're going to be using Claude Code to build an entire ad campaign from scratch. So Ivan is going to show you how he uses the terminal to just spin off entire LinkedIn ad campaigns. Second, we're going to do something that like a lot of people do, which is essentially using Claude Code to create our own version of a social engagement platform, which essentially means that we're going to be taking some of our best performing posts, and then using Claude Code, we'll be able to look at all of the people who engage with a post, qualify these people, and then enrich them to be able to start conversations at scale. And then finally, Kenny is going to showcase the third use case, which is going to be an entire campaign being built out from scratch. So make sure to stay till the end. The whole idea here is that it's just going to be like writing a few prompts inside of Claude Code, and the entire campaign is going to be built out, aka the list is going to be built out. We're going to be finding intent signals automatically. We're going to be enriching the leads, and then we're going to have the copy that's being generated. Plus, we're going to have the copy and the entire campaign being added to our sales engagement platform. Just one question, because I'm seeing some comments. Some people are actually complaining about the stream quality. Please tell me, like, how's the quality for you guys? Is it just a few select people, or is it not working for most people? Please comment on the chat real quick. Okay, quality is fine. So guys, if you are struggling, it's probably your Wi-Fi. So without further ado, Ivan, I'm gonna leave the floor to you. Let's cover our first ever use case, which is the build out of LinkedIn ad campaign.
Sure, let's do this. So yeah, so basically, just to give you context, so through the ad section of the agency, our ads team is managing like hundreds of thousands on ad spend, and throughout like Google, Meta, and LinkedIn, right? So one of the key ones that I find the most annoying and difficult to manage is LinkedIn, because like the UI and basically the options that gives you to update the campaigns and do things in bulk, it's quite hard. So that's where was the first Claude Code use case that I deployed, and I'm just going to show you live, how this could work. Obviously, that's just going to be like one use case example, but we do this to update campaigns at scale as well. But for this one, I'm just going to create one live. So let me share my screen. I believe this is going entire screen on this one. Let me see if this works. Yes, right.
For all the people asking,
yeah, Ivan, we can see you.
It is recording.
Yeah. So I'm just going to refresh this. This is the campaign manager, and I just have it here. So this is like one of the agents that I built. So now I'm summoning a specific folder where I have the code, and this is basically like the spreadsheet that I use to create a campaign. Basically, you can change this as you would like. So it's like the campaign group. Then that's like the campaign name that I want to call, and there's like the targeting. So here I can select if I want to have bottom of the funnel. I want to target like ABM tech, and then that's an ad copy. So it's just a matter of me inputting all these fields together here, and the drive folder where I have like the ads, and yeah, and just like by this, Claude Code should be able to go through this Google Sheet, understand what's happening, and then right now give me a summary of like what's gonna do to build the campaign. So let's wait.
Just to make sure that everybody understands, here what you did is you have a Google Sheet with some updates that you want to make inside of the LinkedIn ads campaign builder. And so you essentially are asking Claude Code to go through the Google Sheet and then perform the updates, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, was actually creating a campaign from scratch. So this is like to create a campaign from scratch. So right now we don't have this campaign created. And I just want to create this campaign for the webinar, right? I want to run these ads, for example, let's say. So I would just go here. I would input this with the landing page, as well like the CTA, and just with this reference, for example, in the ad name, I have this reference, so I can just call a reference, and then Claude Code should just be able to go to Google Drive and find the right ad for this.
And Yvonne, question here. Somebody asked, are you using an API to do this?
Correct. I'm using the API. You can also use the MC, well, for not for LinkedIn ads, but like you can use MCP for Meta ads and Google ads. In this case, I use the API and I save the scripts. I train Claude Code on the scripts. So here's just giving me the summary for me to check, right? So we have the bottom of the funnel, which is our own targeting, and then we have like the ABM targeting as well, which we are targeting a specific company list that we built with Outbound, where we are targeting the go-to-market tag and specific job titles. So I just need to do confirm, and here I just need to refresh, and it should appear pretty soon. So yeah. In this case, like, I will go on to do something else.
And Yvonne, real quick, actually, Yvonne, before you move on, I think some people have some questions here about, what is the type of setup does it actually take to be able to set something like this up? Like, for example, like the skills files, or, what type of prompting would somebody need to be able to set this up on their own?
I mean, you can just use plan mode. Yeah, so just quickly, you guys can see that the campaign appeared now. But yeah, just use plan mode and like let Claude Code help you with with that. Just basically that's how I got it started. Plan mode, and then it will just take you through the whole steps, and then you just have to define it, redefine it, like the API calls. But yeah, now this just happened, and now we have like the both campaigns, both have like different targeting, and here we have one of the ads. So for example, the bottom of the funnel campaign, as you guys can see, we only had one ad, and then the other one we had two. So yeah, this is pretty much the ad. So it's ready, and we can just click sign up here, and yeah, that was just done through basically through the spreadsheet. And we can as well double check the targeting criteria. Yeah, so we have like all the targeting criteria included, because we have like our safe audience. So every time we have an audience, we can reuse it. You can as well like create new audiences. I mean, we use this to do bulk updates for biddings, to update like account lists, and to make anything that needs like updated in bulk. There are a few limitations still, but yeah, it's evolving pretty fast. So yeah, this is yeah, gonna be improving. So that's one of the first use cases. Just basically
Ivan, sorry to cut you off, because I see some interesting questions. So Josh asking about the setting of the API, and I feel like with Claude Code, it's actually fairly easy to set up the API, because it's typically you feed the documentation of any platform, and then Claude Code figures it out on its own. But like, could you just like elaborate a little bit on that? And then some people are asking if you've tried to do a similar setup with Meta ads. I know we've already done that with Google ads, and we also done so with Meta.
Yeah, we have this set up across Meta, Google, and LinkedIn. Yeah. So yeah, you can do those. Yeah, those with the three of them, and the three of them have different like API processes, but like Claude Code can help you through the setting up those APIs. Yeah, 100%.
And Yvonne, another question here that I was seeing a lot of people ask is, would you also, I know we don't have time to actually show the entire process today, but would you also be able to actually use Claude Code to be able to create the content itself and the actual ad copy?
Yeah. So this is like something we're perfecting. But yeah, so there is a ad generator workflow that I have that connects to Nano Banana, and it's able to create single images. it needs to be from pre-designed, like a design that you guys have already, but then it can do iterations for you. So that's possible, and then it can like write the ad copy for you as well. But yeah, that's like, if you guys want to run it like through one workflow, it could be possible. In our case, we actually review it with like copywriters, and we also have a design team. But once we have the base, a lot of times we use them, this ad generator, for iterations.
And one question, Ivan, because people are asking about the setup, as in like how to set up that inside of Claude Code, as in like the details. I know we don't have that much time, but like, would you be able to quickly explain how to set that up? Or like, what would be the best way for people to understand that?
On how to set this up, I mean, you need you need just like the skill, which is the skill of like needs to find like the right API calls, right? And Claude does that for you. Claude is able to run multiple tests and see what is the right combination for the API call. So you go in plat mode, tell Claude Code, like how you can set up the API. Once it's created, then you tell Claude Code, hey, how can I create a campaign? Then once that's successful, because it will do some retries, once that's successful, you say save that in the skill. It will save that in the skill. Now, once you've done that, please, like, how do you like create an ad? Okay, it will do some tries. They will be successful, and then all of those tries, every time you need to have a checkpoint. I have like a command, or I do command checkpoint. It's saved, and then that creates basically the skill, right? And a lot of people that just give those skills. We at CodeIQ, we give some of those skills away, but that's just basically the process, the trial and error until you have that built. It just basically Claude Code is doing the coding for you, right? Like before you had programmers, now you can do it with the back and forth. That's what the programmer does. How can I create a campaign with the API? I need to do this code. I have an error. I have to change this code, etc. Claude is doing that process for you, and you can just then save it at when it's successful, and then you have a line of code that works and that is able to perform this.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah. So another worker that I wanted to run is want to scrape leads. I'm going to use you, Mish.
Okay.
So this is like actually one of the like a very performing motion that we have, which is basically we use LinkedIn post, and then I'm just going to pick this one, for example. We create a lot of LinkedIn content with all the team. And then what we do is we use that engagement as signals to trigger outbound sequences. Plus, as well, we use this same content to run with LinkedIn ads as thought leader ads. So basically, this engagement that you guys see here, that's just intent signals of people that might be like raising the hand. So we want to use this, and we want to find out who that people is, qualify them, and then write them to the right place. So we used to spend like $300+ dollars per month with like doing this scraping and having like these scraping tools. But now with Claude Code, you just basically can input a LinkedIn post, and then it will be able to send that to Clay. I think this is going to send to the wrong Clay one, because I gave it another one. So let me.
Okay, and so even just for context here, essentially what you are doing here is that you are taking one of our posts, and you'll be using Claude Code to scrape all of the engagers, and reach and qualify them so that we can then reach out to them. Is that the whole idea?
Yeah, exactly. So I have so basically what I'm using is Clay. So I have like here like a table built. So that's how it looks like once like they come in. And then you can just, run this enrichments to identify who's the person, and then we will be, running through different enrichments. We'll look at our CRM if they are from, they are a company that are in our CRM, blog list, partner blog list, through like a ICP scoring fit. We'll also have like the lead routing, and then find the emails. And then at the end, the last step is just to push to instantly. So that'd be the last bit. So now it's taking a little bit of time, 1 minute. I'm just going to show you guys, like, so usually I would like use it like here. I've done some runs already before. And then it's just basically, well, now, I just send it to Clay, but I'm not sure if that, because I didn't give yet. That was like another table. So I have to send it to this one. But basically I used this like UI, which it was not like very amazing. So what I did is to build a UI on top of Claude Code, right? Which is this, app like that I created. What I can do, like all of this, like calls like that I do to, which are basically scripts. I can just say Claude Code like, okay, now build me a UI on top of that. So then I can do this, monitors, but using using like a UI, and then I can share that with the team, because a lot of people won't want to use the terminal. And I think that's like the next step of Claude Code, and that's what I want to go to. I go to the terminal. I figured out like the best way to automate a go-to-market flow, and then I build a UI on top of this. So, for example, this monitors profiles. This like as well. It's monitoring keywords on LinkedIn. You can also monitor posts, and then the direct scrape, which is like this is a specific one that we're doing. And and then right now, for example, we have this, running with the team like every week, and then we send that to Clay so we can trigger our outbound sequences.
Perfect. Thanks for the details. Some people are asking for a walkthrough of the terminal. Like, what could you show us inside of the actual terminal?
Inside the terminal, I mean, there's not much. The terminal is this, okay? And I have this. I'm just going to show you. These are my agents, right? I don't know if you can see in the screen. So these are actually the agents that I ran today. This is the campaign builder agent and the social engager agent. And honestly, guys, what this is just folders. This is my agent, and this is what the agent is. It's just a script and a Claude, and then some requirements, right? This is just basically piles of code. And what you do is, when you run the agents, is you call these folders. In my case, I have this like more like Sopra folders, which is I have here my personal brain. So this is a folder for ideas. These like for product tools that I'm building, like this social engager, like inbound routing tools, campaign management, etc. This is the agency management for go to market for all the clients. And this is the architect, which I think this is like the most interesting part, just like a folder, which is basically the agent, or like the set of files and code that helps me organize all of my agents, all of my folders, because it has the code on like the frameworks on how to build skills, on how to organize all the folders, on how to write code, on how to like get feedback. So I did share like recently like a LinkedIn post, like a lead magnet, where I shared like the whole framework on how I structured all these skills. That's on the architect, and that's just something that we're gonna share after the webinar with you guys, so you can structure it. But yeah, that's kind of what I can show in the terminal, because the terminal is just a window to your folder, and a folder is like the code, just basically lines of code if you go inside. these like documents. It's just lines of code.
Yeah,
So
Ivan, I think the person had asked, actually, they had meant to actually mention the scraper in general. So I think before, if you kind of just want to give like a super quick overview of, how somebody would use the scraper end to end, but really give, everybody watching just like what a use case would be like this.
the scraper, how they will use it.
Correct. Yeah. Like, what the scraper, like what this process of what you showed kind of looks like end to end of, pulling a post, doing the engagement scraping using Claude Code, and, kind of what the final output of what somebody could kind of expect to use this for.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, like you guys get the LinkedIn post, you scrape the engagement, and then you will send that to, what we do is like we send that to Clay. The final output is just basically a table where you have qualified people that match your ICP. That's like the final output, right? Once you have that people identified, then you you have to figure out what's the right workflow there for your outbound process. It's either you send to an SDR, you either like send to an outbound email. So yeah, I'm not sure if that was the question exactly, because I just want to make sure.
I think that was a good answer. I think before we kind of move on, I want to confirm, like, does everybody follow what Ivan just kind of wrapped up with here as like that high overview? Were there any particular questions about the workflow? We're paying attention to the chat now, but I think that was a great kind of recap, Ivan, and a good high level overview.
Yeah.
And again, guys, just to reiterate what Ivan said, we'll actually be giving away the actual folder structure that Ivan is using for these. So he has a template pretty much set up for the actual Claude Code structure that you should be running inside of your terminal. And of course, one of the agents as well of what he's showcasing today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect then. Ivan, were you done with your second use case?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, that's like, the table, that'd be the use case. And then, yeah, like that's like the routing that happens, which is like we basically send it to the instantly, but you can send it to a Slack channel for your SDR as well to reach out.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's actually a pretty effective place. So if you post on LinkedIn, it's like there's essentially like a lot of people you can get a meeting with if you re-engage them, because some people are interested in talking with you, but if you don't re-engage them, they won't. So like I recommend setting up something similar. Now I want to move on to the third use case, because this one is going to be a very heavy build out, because like the whole idea here is that we're going to have an entire campaign being built out end to end. And so here in this one, I think people are going to be happy, because we'll be, instead of the terminal, we'll be seeing your prompts being written out, and then we'll see Claude working out through the entire campaign, and then we'll be able to even have to see the actual output of the campaign. Am I right on that one, Kenny?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. So I guess that you can then go and show us what you built, and let's try to give as many details as possible, because sometimes we forget that some obvious things are not that obvious when we have done these a good amount of times.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Ivan, for the amazing use cases, and for all of the people who are wondering whether you'll get more details, because we didn't have time to just like go step by step by step. We didn't show everything, but we'll be sharing a document to show you how to set up exactly. So no worries.
Yeah, perfect. And Misha, I think you just need to approve my screen, and then we should be good to go.
Okay. Right. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, this is what I want. Perfect. So guys, I'll kind of start off with a quick overview, because I know a lot of people were asking questions about the folder structure, how this is set up, some of the things that you actually need. So first, I'm going to cover what you actually need to do what I'm showing today. So what I'm going to be showcasing is how you can essentially use Claude Code to take a list of companies that you have, find your ideal prospects, so your ICP, the people who you're looking to target. From here, also enrich their data. So this is kind of what you would typically use Clay or some of these other enrichment tools for. Enriching their data all within inside of Claude Code, using Claude Code to actually build copy with specific frameworks that you may have. And then next to that is actually pushing the campaign to instantly. I'm actually creating it. And you can do this with many sequencers, whether it's Lemlist or Smart Lead, etc. But the entire point is kind of showing you how you can stay strictly within Claude Code, and actually how you can start cutting the process of copying and pasting text into instantly of like for your actual campaigns. Also, it's going to do all of the ICP scoring for the companies that we're actually working with. And this is going to be the flow end to end. So starting off first, you're gonna have a couple of things inside of your actual Claude structure. So you're gonna have an MD file, which this is basically the brain of the entire project. And so this is basically the directions, right? So you kind of think about it like a map. This is giving your agent everything that it needs to know on how to be able to actually run this. You have your API keys as well. You're also gonna have templates of pretty much examples of what you want your outputs to look like. For me, we have a scoring criteria file. So this is going to be what I'm using to pretty much score our list of companies. And so these are things that your business would set up, right? Like if you want to qualify people based on company size, industry, funding, web traffic, etc. We also have copy frameworks that we are using. And so I think this is one of the better parts about Claude Code is being able to always have the contextualization of constantly giving it the copy that is working for you, copy frameworks that you're using, so that it can always have all of things saved, right? Like before Claude Code, I would have all of my copy documents inside of Google Drive and Google Docs, and none of it was talking to each other. So now Claude Code is an area where all of this data can kind of live and be able to be seen by these AI agents doing work for us. The next thing we'll have is like we're going to be using Apollo today. I figured this was one that a lot of people kind of have. Of course, there's other databases that you would be able to use to be sourcing people and companies, etc. And then we also have some enrichment tools here to actually be able to enrich the emails. And then lastly is your instantly API key or smart lead API key. Seeing here, Mish, can you are there any particular questions that people are asking here? Let's see.
I see people asking how they can get a job using Claude Code, but I'm not sure that that's the goal of the webinar. So.
Yeah, I'll answer Julia's. Yeah, Julia, this is going to be available. So I'll actually, after the call, we're going to be sharing with everyone the recording. Ivan's going to show the SOPs and frameworks that he has, and I'll also be giving away this entire frame structure here. So I'll basically be giving everything away of what you're actually seeing here. So perfect, everyone. I'll kind of next get into what this actually looks like from start to end now that we have that covered. And perfect. Okay, great. Misha, I just need you to approve my screen again. Wonderful. Great. And my screen should be all good. And yeah, Harry, to answer your question real quick, I think in my opinion, I don't think that it can always replace Clay entirely. I think that it can replace certain aspects of Clay. I think this can be a really good mix of both. Like, for example, the company list that you see here on the right, I had pulled from a data provider, and I did some enrichments inside of Clay to actually go and fetch them. But now I'm done with Clay. I'll pretty much be using Claude Code for the rest of this process afterwards. So the first thing I'm going to do is inside of my Finder, I have files saved locally. I'm going to copy this company's CSV. And
okay,
so,
good question, Kenny. Like, so like you
yeah,
have
of course.
companies. How did you build this list? What did you build this list?
Yeah. So this one in particular, I basically just pulled from Apollo. I had particular criteria that I wanted to fit based on like company size, some funding data, and the industry as well. And then I just went into Clay, and then I actually went ahead and confirmed that these people would be ICPs that we'd be looking to target.
And could you have built this list inside of Claude Code actually?
Yeah, 100%. The only reason I didn't was mainly just for time's sake, because I figured I wasn't going to have more than like 15 or 20 minutes, but you could definitely build this inside of Claude Code. I think that's kind of the beauty of it is you can do this with natural language. I think, the largest learning curve that people kind of have with Clay is all the different things that you can do. And so I think the best part with Claude Code is that you can do a lot of this with actual natural language, and it kind of removes that barrier to entry or complexity. And I think it kind of makes things a little easier than what Clay typically would be. Perfect. So guys, the first thing that I'm going to do is since I already copied the list that I have on my laptop, I'm going to with first I need you to tier this company list. And so I'm just going to now paste my CSV. So you can see here it pulls the file name. It's going to pull it directly from my laptop. I need you to tier this company list using my scoring criteria and tier them for me. And so now what's going on is that Claude Code is going to essentially pull both of the files that I have here. So you can see here, it's looking at two files at the same time. And so this is the other great part about Claude Code. So it's looking at the company list that I gave it, but now it's also looking at, oops, sorry, not this one. it's now also going to be looking at the scoring criteria list that I have put together. And we have this here, perfect. And so now what we do is we have the scoring criteria list. It's going through both. And this was basically like the blueprint of how I wanted to tier companies for me. So it covers the industry, it covers the company size, funding, revenue signals, etc. For my case, I'm also wanting to look at companies, what type of tech stacks they have. And it's going to take the CSV of companies that we have here on the right. It's going to look through this entire CSV, look at all of the metrics. So you can see I have funding data, I have employee data, revenue, their tech stack, and it's then going to create Python scripts. So basically just code to actually being able to then tier these companies for me. And so,
and Kenny, quick question.
Yeah.
Because like I think here at Code Like You, we have a very precise idea of our scoring criteria.
Yeah.
But let's take someone who has a list of companies and they want to tier these, into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. What would be a way for them to actually tier them if they don't have a precise idea of scoring criteria? So for example, like, could they
like how they could build this?
Could they ask Claude Code to watch a YouTube video and tier criteria and then have it score it themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'll kind of cover this briefly. So what we can do here is one, like my recommendation for building out your ICP list is, I would look at of course, I would look at your business and I would look at the companies that you are already working with, people that are already paying you money. And from here, I would create your criteria around them, right? You really want to go after more people who are already paying you that money because they are feeling the pain point that you're solving. They're in the position to buy, so you want to be able to find similar companies like them. But clearly, something that you're doing is actually resonating with them, right? So what I would do is I would take an export of your CRM, specifically of your closed won list and people that you are already working with, and then have Claude actually go and look at like what criterias do all these people have? Are they all falling between 50 to 200 employee size? Are they all falling within like $1 million plus in annual recurring revenue? Are they all in a specific industry? And so those would be the things that I would actually go through and do to be able to create a scoring criteria, kind of what I have here on the right side.
Nice. I love the explanation. Looking at your best clients and then sort of saying, okay, like my best clients, they would be tier 1, and then like clients who are not as similar but still are similar could be tier 2 and then tier 3. But essentially who you have already and then continuing.
Correct. Exactly. And so, so the next part here, you guys can already see, Claude finished this like 2 minutes ago, but basically now it's tiered all my companies. So we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. It disqualified some of the contacts based on who we don't want to go after. And then it gave me a quick summary of some of the tier 1 companies that we have, which is great. This would kind of replace what you would usually do in Clay by taking a company list and running OpenAI prompts or running Clay formulas and building out the formulas yourself as well. And so now what we'll do is find me these sales leaders at tier 1 and tier 2 companies. So again, this is just simply with natural language, right? I'm not messing around with any filters. I'm not going into another database. And so the way that this is actually working now, it's just using our Apollo API key to actually go and fetch this data. You could use multiple different API providers or data API providers. You can use things like Blitz API. You can use things like Crest Data. ArcAI is another one. Of course, you can also use Apollo. It really just depends on your own personal preference.
And in this case, how does it know to use Apollo and not another provider?
Yeah, and so this kind of falls into what I showed earlier of the actual MD structure and that folder structure that I had showcased, where I actually, in here, I'm telling Claude, like, hey, I want you to use this particular API key. And I'm telling it, so you can see here, like inside of this library section, I'm giving it the API keys of the tools that I actually want to be able to work with. So this could be with Apollo, this could be with Appify, any of those things of that nature is really what you would be able to do. And so, of course, could I be more granular here and say, hey, like I specifically want, like VPs of sales, et cetera? Absolutely. You can see here, the search enrichment worked. We found 153 contacts. It's now saving them to a CSV for me. And I think this is the biggest kind of thing that really differentiates Claude with Clay in this nature, right? Is the contextualization building of being able to always save the context that you're targeting, the companies that you're targeting, and even building out this copy as well. So being able to save all of this data in one place so that I can then go back and see, for example, here we're already done, right? That was like about a minute and a half and it's already completed. So we have 153 companies. This is how many are in tier 1, tier 2, seniority breakdown, and then we have some with emails and some without emails as well. So now what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to get the rest of these emails. I have another email provider that I'm using here. So let's get the work emails of contacts that don't have one. And so there's multiple providers here that you would be able to use. And I'll see a question here. Digital JC, to answer your question on the data providers, there's multiple. There's ArcAI, Blitz API, Lima Data is another one, Crest Data is another one. There's multiple data providers that you can actually use. Apollo, of course, is one of the ones that a lot of people are already using. Then you have email providers as well to actually be able to enrich these emails. And Naz, to answer your, yeah, go ahead, Mish, were you gonna answer? I had another question here that I would answer.
It was the same actually.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Naz, to answer your question here, the reason why this actually works at scale with 10,000 companies is because the scoring logic is going with Python script. So it's not using something like, for example, inside of Clay, if you were scoring something and you're using OpenAI, you're like, hey, here's this company's industry, company size, etc. Score them for me. This is actually using just Python code. So it's just taking the raw numbers and actually scoring them. So there's zero room for AI to actually have an error here. And the other reason is, like, even if you're looking at the companies to be able to get this long-term, or the context, sorry, to get the context at these companies, Claude is actually going through and is doing semantic searches. So you can see here, it's going through everybody individually here. And I hate to share those people's emails. So let me just remove this here. 1 second, guys. Let me just get another prompt running quickly. I just don't want to leak those context emails. Great point. 1 second, guys, while I just get these emails off of our screen quickly. Okay, so, okay, we might not, okay, perfect. We might actually be able to avoid this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we will put these back up. Okay, so we might not be able to avoid that, but we'll run through it quickly. So the next piece now that we want to do is go ahead and write copy for a campaign where we are targeting contacts regarding a webinar promotion about running LinkedIn ads in Clay. And so now what I'll do is I'm going to run this prompt. I'm just going to hide these emails briefly while it gets running. But basically now what's going on is that I have a copy framework MD, which you can see here in the corner. So we have this copy framework, and what's actually happening is it's going to go into that framework, and you can see here the copy is already completed. But what happened here is I gave Claude a set of email frameworks that we are using right now that I know are already working and converting for us. And so what I did was I told it to, this is the specific type of campaign that we're running, and this is the type of copy that we're looking to do. So it went and it pulled the framework that we actually have, and then it went ahead and created the emails for these. And the nice thing here that you'll actually notice is that it also does all of the mapping as well for first names, your account signature, company name, etc., based on all the details that I actually gave it for Instantly AI. And so it already has all of their API docs, which is something that's really important here. Yeah, go ahead, Mish.
How can people create their own copywriting frameworks?
Yeah, like my recommendation would be, one, of course, there's a lot of like frameworks and gurus and things like that you can find online. But what I would kind of do is, personally, my own process at the moment is, if I'm building out a contact list, I'll usually pick one specific person from that list. And I would actually put on my SDR hat. That's what I used to do before Code. But I would actually go and prospect this person manually as if I was going after them, back in the day. So I would actually try and write the email completely one-to-one for that person based on, of course, your offering and what you're looking to do. And then once you write that email and you put in the perfect information, like if you have all the data that you're looking for, ideally then you take that manual email and you try to reverse engineer how you can do that at scale, right? So you pick a contact and you try and go find all the information that you would want to write a very good email for them. And then you write it. And then from there, you try and reverse engineer how you can actually do that completely at scale. Yeah, so now that we have these email frameworks, and again, I think one other use case here is that to constantly feed Claude Code the email frameworks that you're using, but then also, like, if you're running a campaign, let the campaign run for a week. And then inside of Claude Code, you can prompt it and be like, hey, can you go and get my campaign analytics on my latest campaign? it'll go and fetch it for you through Instantly's API key in Docs. And from here, you'll actually be able to know what type of copy is actually working for you. And then you can have Claude Code save this. And so that way, next time I do a webinar campaign, I'm using the frameworks that worked for us last time, especially if you're doing a lot of A/B tests and things of this nature. And so now that we have the companies, we have the contacts, we have all of their emails, and we have the copy, the next thing we can do here is let's do create a campaign inside of Instantly with the emails and leads above, and name the campaign webinar demo live. And so again, what I'm doing here is I'm just telling it to basically go and create this campaign for me inside of Instantly. And so you can see here, it's reading the Instantly file that I showed you guys at the beginning. One thing that I would recommend, if you're ever using any API keys, what's important here is to, usually what I would do is I would go to the API docs page of the software. I would copy that link and I would just give it the Claude Code. And I'd be like, hey, go read all these API docs and then create a documentation around them. So that way my Claude Code is able to work faster. And when I reference Instantly, it's not going and researching the API docs again. It just already has it. So then it can basically go and actually pull them there.
Nice. And so essentially what people need is they just need to go inside of their Instantly or Lemlist instance, get the API, and then like if they wanted to do it manually, they would just copy paste the API key inside of Claude Code and then ask it to read the documentation, and Claude Code would figure it out on its own.
Correct. Exactly. And yeah, I'll go through some questions while this loads. But MC, to answer your question, the only enrichment that was done before I gave the company list was basically pulling funding data and their revenue. That was essentially it. Again, you could always make this list more niche, but for time's sake, this is kind of how I did it here. And let me see here. Joel, that's a great question. So you don't necessarily need to create different windows for Claude Code to run multiple things. It does have sub-agents that it can actually do multiple things with, but I do typically recommend basically having multiple windows open so you can work on 4 or 5 different projects at a time. So while your Claude Code is actually working, you can go and jump into another project. So you can see here, the campaign is set up, everything is live. So now if I refresh Instantly here, you can see here the campaign pops up. So we have webinar demo live. Now if I go ahead and open this up full screen, what we see here is we have all the leads, all 149 that we were able to get emails for. Everything's loaded and mapped out properly. And then we also have all the sequences. So now all the sequences are here. It's using the frameworks that we have. Of course, here I didn't give it the context on the date, but I would just fill these in. And then if we actually go and we open up the preview, you can see here where the leads now, you're actually able to see them loaded up. And then, of course, you also have all of the email signatures and things of this nature. But this is essentially how you would kind of go on and be able to create a campaign from start to finish here. So now that this is kind of complete, and of course, you could definitely do this a lot quicker. I was spending a lot of time answering questions and doing some explanations. But
one question, because I'm looking at the copy. And so as I'm looking at the copy, what I'm seeing is it says, we still have the placeholder for date and time.
Correct.
Be on date and time. Like how if we set up the campaign and then we see there are some issues, like how do we fix that?
Yeah, so really the only issue here is that, and it's something I did it on purpose here, but I didn't give it the context about when we were running the webinar. It took the framework, and inside of the framework that we're using, we do have the dates there. But had I told it, hey, we're running this webinar on February 26th at 1:30 Eastern, it would have filled that data in for me here. And now if I really wanted to, I could always tell Claude Code to go back and actually fix this afterwards as well.
Nice.
And so now we can go through, let's see here. And you guys have more. Steven, to answer your question, I'll kind of cover like how you would actually use this further to create full-on personalizations, because this is a use case that I was thinking about earlier. But let's say you have this is quite it's a very straightforward walkthrough, but let's say you wanted to create emails entirely personalized at scale. The way that you would be able to go about this is, if you remember, we have all of the seniority details and the titles of the contacts. We have what tier their companies are in, and then in the actual company list, we also have all of the data here. And so there's a couple of things really of, there's a couple of different ways you can do the personalization by, one, being able to tell Claude Code like, hey, here's the email framework, but you can have certain sections, personalization tokens in there. Like it could be, hey, Kenny, and then you could have like an opening line. And what you would be able to do is tell Claude Code like, hey, if somebody is in information technology, I want this opening line. If somebody is in like pharma tech, let's use this particular amount of social proof. And then what it'll do is it'll actually push those personalization tokens for all of those contacts individually there.
Nice, love it, Kenny. Kenny, people are saying that you keep increasing your brightness, but it's at the max already.
Oh yeah, it's just a force of habit, really.
Nice.
Cool, perfect. But yeah, I think those are really some of the main questions here. Perfect.
Amazing. So are you done with the campaign build out?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll answer MC's question. So,
Yeah, because
I'll answer this question here, but yeah, MC, to answer your question, Claude Code would be able to go and do the research on its own. Again, for time purposes, I had done the research prior, but my recommendation here would be you can give it the domains of the companies, of course, and you can basically have it either one enriched with things like Apollo, Lead Magic, Prospeo, etc. And then what you also will end up being able to do is then have it go and also research these companies further for specific type of data that may be publicly available. From here, you can use things like Firecrawl, things like Tavily, that basically help Claude Code go and do web research. You can also use things like Serper API as well. And so those are some of the different things that you could do, but it can absolutely go and pull, like research data for you without ever having to enter or open something up like Clay.
Perfect. And so, Kenny, what I suggest now is that we open up a Q&A. So I think like we can say something on the lines of like 10 minutes just to go through every question. So like, please, guys, like if you have any questions, just like put them in the chat, and then we'll just try to go through as many questions as possible. But right before we do that, if you want to learn these things, we're going to be sending the recording, because I saw this question coming over and over and over. So the recording is going to be sent. We're going to be adding more details, because like Ivan didn't have time to go through all of the details of what he did, but these build out are extremely valuable. So we'll send files. Like if you have any requests for some things that you want us to send, just let us know. We don't want to get everything. We actually believe in just like giving away as much value as possible. At the same time, if you want to work with us, so if you want to learn, how we do these things inside of Clay, Claude Code, and so on, you can reach out to us, via our accelerator program. So we are teaching people how to build these GTM engineering plays, how to build their own agencies. You can also reach out to us via the CodeLikeYou.com homepage if you want to work with us and have like this system being built out, done for you. And in the meantime, let's open up the Q&A.
So I saw a question, and now it's like, I lost it. But a few people asked if you can run this LinkedIn scraping tool for people that's not, it's not in your team. So yes, I mean, we do this, and we track competitor posts alongside keywords on LinkedIn, so you can check who's posting about the topic, like ABM, and then you get someone else's post, and then you get that engagement. And actually, another play, the interesting play that we do is you can get that same audience and upload it onto LinkedIn ads, and then push some organic post to that audience. So it's kind of like you're taking engagement from people that are engaging in a specific keyword, for example, go to market, and then I put that audience on LinkedIn ads, so I can show our go to market posts, for example. So yeah, that's one question I saw there.
Amazing. Okay, let me select some questions now. So here, what scraper is actually being used when you have the post link? I think, Ivan, that's one for you.
Apify. So that's like the scraper that we have. Again, you guys, like, there are multiple providers here. That's the ones that we that we share. So that's the one that we use.
Amazing.
Could you pull up Josh Fry's question here as well? Could you pull it up on the screen?
Yeah, I think I saw. Wait, let me. Is it this one?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So yeah, we'll cover this one. So Josh, overall, yes, you can use Clay to pull companies, CC to score leads, and do all of that. But again, you definitely could use Claude Code to actually also help you build out the list with natural language as well. So this is where you would plug in some of the API providers. If you remember, when I told it to find the correct ICP at the companies, I just told it to find the sales leaders. But I could tell Apollo to basically go and find me software companies between 50 and 500 employees, and it'll go and fetch the same thing as well.
Amazing. I see a question from Erin. Can you recap how you were using Instantly as part of this flow? Kenny, I think this is for you. And also thanks for this hyper informational session.
Yeah, Aaron. So yeah, to give you some context, I was using the Instantly API key here to create the campaign for me inside of Instantly, add the copy, and push all of the leads for me. Typically, of course, the leads and you would be able to push typically through Clay. But what's nice here is that you can create the campaign, copy, and push all the leads just from Claude Code. So instead of me creating the campaign inside of Instantly and then copying and pasting my copy in there and then going to Clay to push the leads, you were able to do everything inside of Claude Code. But the other thing here that's very key is you can also use it to be able to go and pull your campaign analytics. So it can pull the campaign analytics, find out what type of job titles were responding to you, what type of replies you were getting for what copy, and then save that into Claude to use for later as well.
Nice. I see another question from Maximilian. This is a silly question. No, it's not actually. It's a pretty good question. Could we run a scrapping agent on a third-party person LinkedIn post? So I think that's for you, Ivan. So as in, like, can I already? Sorry.
That's like the one that I answered, right? That you can scrape other people.
Perfect then.
Yeah.
How do you guys put a plan together in a workflow? Are you having Opus collab with you? For example, scraping LinkedIn engagement from a post.
I don't understand the Opus collab with you. Yeah, I'm not sure what it means. Do you guys understand?
I think the question is because essentially, like, you built the entire workflow, and it's like, how do you come up with the plan to create this workflow? It's like, is it you come up with it on your own, or do you actually, like, talk with Opus model and then figure it out?
Okay. Claude Opus. Yeah. I understand that. No. I think honestly, in terms of like how you want to run these workflows, I've tried for Claude to like come up with like the strategy. It's not good. So Claude right now is like the operational arm that helps me like build out these workflows. I put the strategy together, and I can maybe run like an agent where I have a conversation with Claude Code to help me like get like ideas and understand like what can be done. I use plan mode for that as well. But at the end of the day, I always come like, I write down like some ideas of like what I think will work or not, and then I run those through Claude Code, and then if that's possible, then I just start building. So yeah, you gotta put your own strategy brain there, and that's when you get the best output.
Thanks for this one, Ivan. Kenny, this is for you. Can you share a list of tools or types of tools that I would need to create and run? I mean, to run such a campaign, I assume I've time traveled from the 1990s and know nothing about this. Okay, let's make it just cool.
Yeah, so the first thing that you would need is something to actually go and get contacts from. So, think ZoomInfo, Apollo, any of these other data providers. The next thing you would need is something to actually run your campaigns on. So a sequencer, this can be Smart Lead or Instantly AI, whichever one is your preference. And basically, then you just need Claude Code. So you would just need a Claude plan. And so the $20 plan is completely fine with Claude Code. The max plan is great if you're doing lots of work on Claude Code, but generally the $20 plan that they have is really all you need. So if you have those three things, you would be able to then run exactly what I did here.
Nice, thanks for this one. I see. I think perhaps you reply to this one in the chat. Does Apollo have an MCP server or doesn't?
Yeah, I replied to this one in the chat. No worries.
Okay, this one as well. You can script impression for people's posts, or just likes, comment.
Yeah, no, really, you can't. Only comments, likes, and shares. But yeah, no, not impressions.
Okay, how do you use Blitz API to run this prospect at scale? To enrich, let's say, 100,000.
I answered this one in the chat as well, Mish.
Okay, what was the answer? Because I don't know if everybody is following the chat.
I think if you wanted to use something like Blitz API or any other data providers as well, you can use it by connecting their API docs. So like I mentioned, you go to their API docs page, you plug in the link to Claude Code, and then you actually tell it to go and pull all the data from the API docs and store it. And then you could just use natural language to be like, hey, go and find me, sales leaders at these companies, and enrich their company data, enrich their emails as well.
Thanks for this one. And how do you run these daily, weekly agents on Claude Code?
Yeah, Jen. So what we usually end up doing is a lot of the times, if we're running something that's fully autonomous, it can be a mix between NAN, so having Claude Code actually create the NAN workflows and also launching them as well. But the other section is using something called Railway. And so this is how you can actually set up fully autonomous agents outside of NAN that Claude Code actually codes together, and then puts on a platform called Railway where they can basically run 24/7 completely on their own.
Nice. Now, I think this is a very interesting question. Can you get Claude Code to constantly A/B test? Because I think that something we showed is, having these agents run when we prompt them. What about having this agent autonomously, look at the campaigns, say,
Yeah.
every week, and then, improve on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best use case, to be honest, is being able to have a look at your campaign data, look at what you did last time, and run different types of A/B tests. And then you can look back like, hey, Claude, tell me the campaign analytics from the last 4 weeks. It can then dissect what A/B tests work properly across all your campaigns, and then start creating winning playbooks for you.
Nice. I love it. What are your suggestions for cold email to CEOs? Is Google Workspace a good option over Nexus and other servers for managing mailboxes?
Mish, I think maybe you can answer like what type of cold email would work on you.
Uh,
I hate to put you on the spot, but I think that's a good question for you.
No, I think because when I'm seeing the question, I assume that it's more like an email deliverability question than an actual pitch question. And so I guess the question is more so how to set up your email infrastructure at scale. And so in this instance, we actually have a managed service, so we can handle this for you if you want. But there are some best practices to follow: multiple inboxes, secondary domains, not too many emails being sent. And yeah, if you actually want to grab the attention of CEOs, just make sure that these emails are very personalized, and just don't hesitate to follow up, because I can tell you, as a CEO of a 35-person company, my inbox is flooded. And so sometimes the reason why I'm not replying to people isn't because I don't want to reply to people, is because it just got lost, And so sometimes I end up replying to something I was interested about on the third attempt, while if I had seen it on the first one, I would have. So don't hesitate to follow up and make it personalized. Now, do you run some Claude Code flows on autopilot daily or weekly?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the social engager app that I showed has a setting where you can put daily, weekly, or monthly. So basically, I can put a set of LinkedIn posts, and I'm just going to pull it up quickly so I can show.
Oh, I think he disappeared when he tried to show. Yeah, I think Ivan has this issue where
Yeah, that did happen. Ivan does have that issue. Yeah,
gets-
but I mean, I think that's pretty much concludes everything. So I'll just kind of recap again. So everyone, we'll be sharing all of the frameworks of how to actually set up your Claude Code structure with different folders, how to set up different skills files as well. And then also Ivan will be showing the actual agents that he's using. And I'm also going to give away the exact framework and breakdown and structure of what I pretty much showed everybody today. And really what you'll have to do is just plug in your own API keys, and you can kind of just hit play. Ivan, welcome back.
Yeah. I just have a problem when I share my screen, but
yeah,
I don't know if you guys answered the question, or can I just finish it?
No, yeah, you can finish it by all means.
Yeah. So basically, unfortunately, I mean, it's good that I was able to show my screen at the beginning. I'm not going to share it again because my Chrome crashes for some reason.
Yeah, no worries.
However, I am monitoring all the Cold IQ team posts. So there is like a monitor post that every week it's gonna look at the last 5-10 posts and scrape new engagers from there. So you can have those agents running weekly, and yeah, and that's deployed through Railway. That's like a deployment cloud service that we have, so I can have an agent running 24/7.
Nice. Another question: Open Cloud versus Claude Code. Could you break it down?
Yeah, Neil, in my personal opinion, I think they really can be used. They're kind of two different things. I think Open Cloud and CloudBot in general are better as like just personal assistants, whereas I think Cloud Code can be much better for your, your daily kind of work as well. But both can be set up with autonomous agents. But I think personally, I think most people use Open Cloud. Well, yeah, Open Cloud is more of an actual personal assistant versus, of course, Cloud Code you can use specifically for your go-to-market motion.
Yeah. Yeah, just to add on that, I think like one of the interesting key things that OpenCloud has is you can run it on a own Mac Studio on an own like monitor, and have agents talking to each other 24/7. So it means like, imagine like you have like two AIs talking to each other, like trying to figure out like how to develop a software. That's something I haven't tried yet, but that's what I want to do because I'm building all of these GTM tools, and I want to see if there is a way to spin up like software development, because a lot of times with these tools, when I have to build them, there is a lot of trial and error to get there. But if you can have like a feedback loop that self learns, so OpenCloud is like is able to do that. And yeah, like I've done some research on that. I thought like it was very interesting. So interesting use case if you guys want to explore it.
Nice. And then there is this question about, I see someone was like, oh, you're gonna provide the skill API, I mean like the Claude skill GTM file and so on, because this is something we promised inside of the link of the event. So the answer is yes, we're gonna be sending a follow-up email with all of the documentation. And then I think this is a very interesting question, because this is probably like like the biggest thing right now. I feel like because I've seen some comments, people were asking, "Are we early? Are we early?" And I think we are extremely early. Especially when it comes to applying AI to GTM. It's still something we are early on. But then leveraging tools like Claude Code, it's like a very very little proportion of the world that is doing so at the moment. And so when it comes to resources, Kenny, Ivan, like, how did you learn enough of Claude Code to be able to apply this to GTM?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I wish I had a better story, but quite frankly, I just opened Claude Code. I watched pretty much actually Loic on CodeIQ's team. He was telling me some things on actually how to get it set up, and so he shared a Notion SOP with me, which maybe that can be something that we also share as well. But once I set it up on my laptop, I just opened it up and I just started asking it questions about how to actually do things for me, and it kind of just it started doing them. And so once you kind of understand just the type of prompting that you can do and really what these skills files and MD files kind of are, from there it does everything just based on just general natural language.
Yeah. Evan, do you have some other resources that you use that you could recommend?
I've used there's like a Claude Code course that I use to to get started on the infrastructure. So to me, I feel one of the key mistakes that I made is not to not start with the right infrastructure, because then I had to redo all my folders and all my skills, because I started like Kenny, right? Like I'm just going to try. And then I saw that there is like actually SOPs on how to structure these things and these agents, so they work well and like you can run them efficiently. So there is a few resources that I found on the internet. I can't recall like the exact links, but we can share them after in the webinar. And I put those together to create that framework that's I can share. But I think that's like a very, very good key here. If you guys want to start with the framework, start like how to structure the skills. What do you guys need? Like what folders, what files, etc. Because that's the key.
Yeah. I have like 3 YouTube channels that I've used used to learn on my own. So I'm actually like inputting them on the chat. So Nate Herc, Greg Eisenberg, Riley Brown. All of these guys, they don't talk about Claude Code or AI coding tools for GTM per se. They talk about these tools in general. And so, similar to Ivan and Kenny, I think the best way to learn is to actually find any use case or like any project to apply the skills on. But then, if you go on any of these 3 channels, you should be able to find a tutorial, like a long form tutorial that explains how you can use these platforms. and then like learn enough to be able to apply this to GTM.
And
And
just
then,
to add,
yeah,
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 just to add on this, Mish, because I just remember that I use some YouTube videos, and I run an agent with that's YouTube summarizing, so it summarizes those videos for you. That's done with Claude Code. So you guys like just maybe that's the first use case you can do. Go to one of these YouTube, go to Claude Code and ask Claude Code how to run a YouTube summarizer agent. It should be able to do so. And then you can have like that summary. And from that summary, you can pull like the, like the main things that you need to do, how to structure the files, because that was one of the resources I inputted to the agent to create like the infrastructure. So yeah, one tip there.
yeah, amazing. Well, I think we can wrap up, except if there's like some extremely urgent question that needs to be answered right about now. But as I was mentioning, if you have any more questions, we're going to be sending follow-up emails. You can find us at codeq.com if you want to work with codeq to set up your done-for-you campaigns. You can apply to the accelerator program if you want to learn all of our ways. Like we're going to be like going extremely deep in all of these new technologies. And if you want to find us on LinkedIn, please follow these two guys. Like as I mentioned, Ivan and Kenny are some of the craziest guys I know in the space. So Ivan, our head of growth, like the best ad engineer I know. Kenny, our head of GTM, most probably like the best GTM engineer I know. They are sharing some extremely valuable content on a weekly basis. So yeah, so no doubt that if you want to learn more and if you want to explore some new use cases, these can be found on their profiles. And then you can also follow me. But that's just like if you want. Ivan, Kenny, do you have some last thoughts that you want to share?
No, I think we're good. I think the only thing is I'm sure me and Ivan will probably be doing a lot more of these. So we'll probably look back through, look at the questions that we didn't have time to really get back to. But I think we can definitely look forward to doing a lot more of these in the future.
Yeah,
Amazing.
sure. Yeah, just to add on, yeah, I think like my use cases I haven't been able to like deploy, but maybe if more people are interested, we can go into like these specific tools, use cases, and how to deploy this, and yeah, like the whole spectrum of it.
Amazing. And actually, like it's right before ending, if you have some topic you want to explore specifically when it comes to Claude Code for GTM, just comment it here, just so we see. And then if we see enough of the same topic showing up, then we'll prepare another that's going to be focusing on this very specific use case. And once again, you will receive the recording. We will be sending it to you. And then like for the people who are scared about AI replacing us, I think that like there's like this very cliche saying that says you won't be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by a human leveraging AI. And I think that like if you are listening to this sort of webinars, people should be scared of you and not the opposite. You'll be the human with AI replacing the human without AI. Thanks a lot to everyone. And on that note, I wish you an amazing end of the day. Bye-bye.
Mish, real quick.